Welcome back to Your Milk and Cereal, where we dive into the darkest corners of human nature to uncover the chilling stories that have shocked the world. I'm your host, Ramira Arlilia, and the owner of Your Milk LLC, where I create handcrafted skincare and self-care products. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a Saturday upload. Check out the description box below for more details on what I'm creating, and feel free to explore our website while you're there. Now, let's get into today's story. Today, we revisit one of the most tragic and horrifying events in Olympic history, the 1972 Munich Massacre. The 1972 Summer Olympics in Munich were intended to be a symbol of peace and unity. This was the first Olympics held in Germany since the 1936 Berlin Olympics, which had been marred by the Nazi regime. Munich was determined to present a new, democratic Germany to the world, embracing a spirit of international harmony and reconciliation. The city was abuzz with optimism, and the Games were seen as a chance for Germany to make a positive statement on the world stage. However, the world watched in horror as the celebration of peace turned into a nightmare. On the evening of September 4th, 1972, Israeli athletes, including wrestlers and weightlifters, were unwinding after attending a performance of Fiddler on the Roof. They returned to the Olympic Village expecting a restful night, but their peace was about to be shattered. As they settled into sleep, 8 armed members of the Palestinian group Black September scaled the 6-foot fence surrounding the Olympic Village. Their mission was clear and deadly. Silently and methodically, they approached the 2 apartments housing the Israeli team. Inside the first apartment, Israeli wrestling referee Yosef was jolted awake by a noise at the door. Peering through the darkness, he saw masked men armed with guns forcing their way in. Instinctively, he threw his weight against the door and yelled a warning to his teammates. Amid the chaos, 2 athletes managed to escape, while another 8 hid in fear. The terrorists were relentless. Weightlifter Yosef Romano bravely attempted to disarm one of the attackers, but was shot and killed. Wrestling coach Weinberg fought back with a fruit knife, but also met a tragic end. The terrorists, led by Latif Afif and Youssef Nazal, along with other Black September members, managed to secure 9 hostages. Their demands were explicit: the release of 234 Palestinians imprisoned in Israel and 2 terrorists held in Germany. In response, Israel's government was adamant there would be no negotiations. I wonder if this is where the phrase, "we don't negotiate with terrorists," comes from. Anywho, the Munich police chief and the Egyptian Olympic team head general attempted to negotiate, offering unlimited money, but the discussions proved fruitless. The terrorists insisted on being transported to Cairo after more than 12 hours of futile discussions. Authorities, devising a desperate plan, led the terrorists to believe they would comply while secretly preparing an ambush at the airport. Shortly after 10 p.m., 2 helicopters transported the terrorists and their hostages to the airbase where a Boeing 727 awaited. The stage was set for a final, tragic confrontation. The rescue attempt turned disastrous. German snipers lacking experience and communication mistakenly believed there were only 5 terrorists, when there were actually 8. They were inadequately equipped, lacking helmets, bulletproof vests, and night scopes, and had not requested backup in time. The flight crew, composed of German police who had volunteered, abandoned their posts as the helicopters arrived. As the terrorists disembarked from the helicopters, with the 4 pilots held at gunpoint, 2 terrorists inspected the plane and found it empty, sprinting back to the helicopters. At that moment, the police snipers opened fire. Several terrorists were killed, but those who survived attempted to flee, return fire, and shoot out the airport lights illuminating them. A German policeman in the control tower was killed by the gunfire. The pilots fled, but the bound hostages in the helicopters could not escape. Just past midnight on September 6th, one terrorist opened fire into a helicopter, killing 3 of the hostages and wounding another. Another terrorist fired into the second helicopter, killing the remaining 5. The one wounded hostage did not die by the gunfire, but instead of smoke inhalation when a grenade was tossed into the helicopter, causing an explosion. The terrorist leader and another terrorist were killed in a shootout with the police. 3 remaining terrorists, 2 of whom were wounded, were captured. Yusuf Nazal, the second in command, escaped but was tracked by dogs and shot after exchange of gunfire. Did I forget to mention that all of this was happening on national TV? Please comment below if you remember this tragic incident, lived through it, or anything. I'm personally from the era of September 11th. Initial news reports falsely claimed that all of the hostages were alive and all the terrorists had been killed. The truth soon emerged. The hostages were dead, leaving the world to grapple with the aftermath of this tragedy. In 2012, it was allegedly revealed that West German authorities had received a tip-off from a Palestinian informant 3 weeks before the Munich massacre. The informant warned of a planned quote-unquote incident at the Olympics. The Foreign Ministry took the tip seriously enough to pass it on to the Munich Secret Service, urging that all possible security measures be taken. Yet despite this warning, authorities failed to act and the lapse remained unacknowledged for 40 years. It was suggested that a broader 40-year cover-up by German authorities concerning this mishandling of the response to the massacre. Author Simon Reeve and others highlight the egregious lack of preparation on the part of the German authorities. This costly lesson led to the creation of the Police Counterterrorism Branch, GSG-9, less than 2 months later. German authorities made critical mistakes. Restrictions in the post-war West German constitution prevented the army from participating. Responsibility fell solely on the Munich police, and new information about the number of terrorists did not reach the snipers due to lack of radios. The snipers were inadequately equipped with rifles deemed unsuitable for the distance they needed to shoot, lacking telescopic sights and protective gear. Tactical errors, including improper helicopter landing positions and miscommunication among snipers, further compounded the failure. The Munich Games face unprecedented scrutiny. For the first time in modern history, competition was suspended for 34 hours due to public outcry. On September 6th, a somber memorial service was held, attended by 80,000 spectators and 3,000 athletes. The IOC president made only a brief reference to the murdered athletes, praising the resilience of the Olympic movement. This sparked anger among mourners, including André Spitzer's widow and Weinsberg's mother, who collapsed and died of a heart attack during the service. The Olympic Games continued despite the tragedy, a decision backed by the Israeli government. Many athletes, including the Israeli team, withdrew from the Games, while others still reeling chose to stay. The decision to continue the Games was controversial, with many feeling it showed a lack of respect for the victims. Yeah. At the 1976 Summer Olympics in Montreal, the Israeli team honored the victims by entering the stadium with their national flag adorned with a black ribbon. The families of the victims sought a permanent memorial from the IOC, but their requests were declined to avoid alienating other members of the Olympic community. An international campaign to observe a minute of silence at the 2012 London Olympics was also rejected by the IOC, although it was eventually honored at the 2020 Summer Olympics held in 2021, marking the first such tribute in the ceremony's history. In Munich, a memorial stands outside the Olympic Stadium, a stone tablet at the bridge linking the stadium to the former Olympic Village. Another tablet is placed outside the former lodging of the athletes. Additionally, a memorial plaque was unveiled at the Sydney Olympic Stadium on October 15, 1999. Finally, the IOC officially commemorated the victims for the first time at the Rio 2016 Olympics. The Munich massacre not only cast a dark shadow over the Olympic Games, but also catalyzed significant changes in global counterterrorism measures. The tragic events led to the creation of specialized counterterrorism units and ongoing debates about the balance between security and the spirit of international competition. The legacy of the Munich massacre endures, serving as a grim reminder of the vulnerabilities faced during international events and the need for rigorous security measures. The ongoing efforts to honor the victims and learn from past mistakes underscore the importance of vigilance and preparedness in the face of terrorism. Let's keep the discussion alive in the comments. What do you think were the biggest mistakes made during the Munich massacre response? Could they have been avoided? And how do you feel about the decision to continue the Olympic Games after such a tragic event? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. Thank you for joining me on this journey through one of history's darkest moments. We're getting close to hitting 200 subscribers, and your support means everything. If you found this video compelling, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Your Milk and Cereal for more chilling stories. Until next time, self-care and stay safe.